The opening weekend of the 2026 FIFA World Cup is now complete, and so far there's already been some huge stories. 4 of the tournament favourites have already dropped points. Brazil, Spain, Uruguay and Belgium. Meanwhile, Germany scored 7 against Curaçao. United States have announced themselves on home soil as serious contenders. Morocco proved once again that their ranking truly reflects the team that they are. And one of the most entertaining games of the entire tournament may have already happened. But which moment was the biggest? By all means, stick around until the end of the video because I'll be counting down my top 5 moments of this World Cup's opening weekend. Trust me, there are some good contenders here. So, let's start with Germany, because they didn't just beat Curaçao, they demolished them, with the 7-1 victory being the biggest result of this tournament so far. Does it put Germany among the early talking points of the World Cup? Because at the end of the day, after the disappointing exits in 2018 and in 2022, there were genuine questions surrounding this German side. But after one match, those doubts, surely they've disappeared by now. Jamal Musiala looked outstanding. Kai Havertz got on the score sheet. Felix and Mecha opened the scoring almost immediately. And Germany looked ruthless from first whistle to last. Now, albeit, this was Curaçao, it's not like they were playing against France, Argentina or Brazil. But scoring 7 goals at a World Cup, surely that puts a statement to the rest of the teams on what Germany want to do in this World Cup. Now, here's a question. Should the 5-time world champions be drawn against Morocco? If we're being honest, Morocco probably deserved that draw, if not more, because at the end of the day, they looked organised, disciplined, dangerous in transition. They were completely unfazed by the reputation that Brazil holds. Now, Brazil eventually did find their equaliser through Vinicius Jr., but throughout that whole game, there were definitely some warning signs, like the fact that they looked defensively vulnerable. The midfield struggled to control, key moments in the game. Carlo Ancelotti now has questions that need answering. Genuinely, for Morocco, this definitely puts them up there. As I said, their FIFA ranking definitely reflects that performance over the weekend. They're no longer the underdogs. They're genuine contenders that on their day, they could probably beat any of the top 5. Because, after reaching the latter stages of the World Cup in 2022, they've gone from struggling against the top teams to now going toe-to-toe with one of the best teams in history. They looked completely comfortable. Hopefully this World Cup might turn out to be another special one for Morocco. Now, if there was one host nation that impressed me this weekend, it was the United States. A dominant 4-1 victory over Paraguay, 4 goals, 3 points, and one of the most strongest performances that they've probably produced in their history. Mauricio Pochettino's side definitely played with confidence, aggression, and intensity. With Balogun grabbing the headlines with a brilliant brace. The crowd were fully behind this team. For the first time in a while, there seems to be genuine excitement surrounding the American national team. Don't get me wrong, playing at home can create pressure. Look at England, for example, in the Euros of 2021. But so far, the USA look like they're embracing it. The challenge now is consistency. Can they reproduce this level against a stronger opposition? Because if they can, they could become one of the stories of the tournament. Now, if you've got a bit of time to go back and watch one of these games over this weekend, definitely would choose the Netherlands and Japan, because this game had everything. From the first whistle to the last, momentum swings, drama, 2 teams refusing to give up, and 4 goals. One of them being scored in the 89th minute. For this result, the Netherlands will feel frustrated. But on the other side, Japan, this says everything about their mentality. They refused to panic. They stayed organised, and they earned a deserved point. They did. Now, don't be surprised if both teams don't make it out of this group. This might end up being one of the most important results of the entire group stage. Now, here's the biggest theme to take away from this opening weekend, is the fact that the favourites aren't having their own way. Spain were held to a goalless draw by Cape Verde. Belgium were held to a 1-0 draw by Egypt. Uruguay were held to a draw by Saudi Arabia. And Iran drew with 2-2 with New Zealand. The gap between football's traditional giants and the rest of the world appears smaller than ever. The fact that teams are better organised, more tactically disciplined, more confident on the ball, and overall, they're far less intimidated by the big names. And this is why the World Cup is so special, because every 4 years, the underdogs get the chance to shock the world, make a name for himself. And to take away from this opening weekend, we can definitely suggest that there will be definitely more shocks and surprises that will come in this World Cup, for sure. Now look, I know it's only one game, and it's only been one weekend of the World Cup so far, but surely Group C is already looking to be one of the best groups to be in at the moment. Scotland beating Haiti 1-0. Morocco drawing with Brazil. Suddenly the entire group looks wide open. Now, for Scotland, it wasn't spectacular. We know that. But it didn't need to be. 3 points, clean sheet, and a huge confidence boost to come with that. For Morocco, drawing Brazil only strengthens their belief that they can challenge anyone on their day. But for Brazil, pressure is already starting to build. So who were the biggest winners from this opening weekend? Germany, USA, Morocco, Japan, Mexico, and even Sweden, even after their impressive victory over Tunisia. But the biggest losers? Brazil, for sure. Not because they lost, but because expectations are different. Same with Spain, same with Belgium, even Uruguay. And obviously due to results, Paraguay and Curaçao fall into that category as well. Because at the end of the day, we know what happens in a World Cup. One poor result can change everything. And just after one weekend of this World Cup, we've already learned a lot. Germany looked dangerous. Morocco are serious contenders. The USA could definitely put up a fight and surprise a few people. One of the most difficult teams to play against is definitely Japan. But most importantly, the smaller nations aren't afraid anymore. Those days are gone of where football's elites just simply turn up and win. Those days are gone because every match now feels competitive. Every point matters. And that's exactly what makes a great World Cup. Now, the all-important top 5 moments of this weekend. This is what you've been waiting for this whole video. Number 5, Scotland's winning start. Scotland won't care how they won. They'll care the fact that they did win. 3 points and a clean sheet, with a genuine chance now of reaching the knockout stages. Number 4, Japan's comeback against the Netherlands. Twice behind, twice level, and one of the most entertaining matches of the tournament so far. This is proof that, Japan on their day compete with anyone. Number 3, USA's statement victory. 4 goals, an electric atmosphere, and a brilliant opening performance. The USA couldn't have asked for a better start. Number 2, Morocco hold Brazil. But at this point, should we even call it a surprise? Because at the end of the day, ranked 7th in the world, they continue to prove that they are definitely one of the better international teams in world football. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the number 1 of the top 5 moments of the opening weekend of this World Cup is Germany with the 7-1 victory over Curaçao. Now, as I said, albeit the fact that they did play Curaçao, they could have just gone there and got a 2-1 victory, but they demolished Curaçao 7-1. I repeat, 7 goals to Curaçao's 1. They sent warnings to everyone else in this tournament that they're here to stay. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is my top 5 from the opening weekend of this World Cup. Let me know your biggest takeaway down in the comments below. Did I get my top 5 right? Who's impressed you the most? And who's even disappointed you so far? If you've enjoyed this video, please make sure to subscribe, like, and turn on the notifications to see more of me in this World Cup. Thank you for watching. In the next one.